The first law of thermodynamics is basically that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So it's the law of conservation of energy. So the big picture to me would be it makes sense to have natural resource energy priced in digital energy. I think of Bitcoin as digital energy. And so from the law of conservation of energy, that makes sense. You keep the loop closed. Pricing something in fiat is like pricing something in a ruler or measuring something in a ruler that continuously changes, right? I mean, the government's changed the length of a ruler. So you can't rely on that unit of account. Ultimately, I believe there will be a time when everything else is priced in Bitcoin, and that is the truest measure of account, Bitcoin.
Hey guys, welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have veteran trader Greg Foss discussing investment opportunities in Bitcoin, crypto, and what we can expect in the market in 2023. Foss believes that despite the current uncertainty about digital assets, there will be massive investment opportunities coming, whether it be in short cycles of Bitcoin or in the long economic cycles of a traditional market. He says Bitcoin serves as portfolio insurance, providing a backstop to the fiat Ponzi in the face of deflation, QE infinity, or endless quantitative easing by the Fed and the devaluation of currencies. Foss also believes that the banking system has always been sick and encourages people to uncover the inner workings of the fundamentally flawed financial system. Let's get right into the latest interview with Greg Foss as he shares his Bitcoin prediction and where the market is headed in 2023. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. It's a tremendous help for the growth of the channel and helps us bring you more content just like this.
Let's start with what the petrodollar is, which is a very strategic advantage for the United States. So it's not surprising that some of the not-so-friendly nations of the United States are looking to destabilize the petrodollar. What does it mean when oil and natural gas are priced in US dollars? It means essentially that the USA can print energy. Think of that strategic advantage that has, and the flip side, the negative effects it has for a country like Russia. Russia is selling its valuable natural resource energy for US dollars that are debasing, firstly, but also that can be frozen. US Treasury assets get frozen and whatnot.
So it was selling its
totally right.
energy in dollars, but given the sanctions, it's now moved away from that.
There you go. But they're not the only nation that would be subject to those challenges. If we bring it back to the idea, and you did mention this, that Bitcoin is priced in fiat. Fiat is just a measuring stick. Your house is priced in fiat. The value of your house hasn't really changed, in that shelter still is equally valuable today as it was 30 years ago. The only thing that's happened is the price of that house measured in US dollars has increased because the unit of account, which is the US dollar, has decreased in value on a relative basis. So when we say that Bitcoin is priced in fiat, that's just a measuring stick. But I like to say 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. You know, there will be a time when fiat is actually priced in Bitcoin, not the flip side, because we're seeing the first steps right now, but energy will be the most important step. That will be the big event that I believe causes, people to realize why Bitcoin is so darn cheap at a price that it's currently trading at today relative to where it could go, priced in fiat. Now, again, pricing something in fiat is like pricing something in a ruler or measuring something in a ruler that continuously changes, right? I mean, the government's changed the length of a ruler. So you can't rely on that unit of account. Ultimately, I believe there will be a time when everything else is priced in Bitcoin, and that is the truest measure of account, Bitcoin. If we go back to the principle that 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, then we don't get confused with, the relative trading pair. We call it a trading pair. So, much like the Canadian dollar trades as a trading pair against the US dollar, the Bitcoin trades as a trading pair against the US dollar. That trading pair is on its way out, in my opinion. And that's why if you start with how about this? What is Bitcoin worth in a barrel of oil? Okay, so you have a volume of oil. How much of that barrel of oil does 1 Bitcoin buy? You've taken the US dollar out of the equation altogether. Does one Bitcoin equal? So, you could do the math in your head, $30,000 US per Bitcoin, 1 barrel of oil equals, we're running with it, but that will change over time so that you measure Bitcoin in barrels of oil, not in fiat. Even with the development of the Bitcoin commerce, you have places like El Salvador where you don't ever transact in US dollars. Now, it's only a small part of the population, but it's a toehold that will increase. So you have it increasing at the micro level. Does it happen at the macro level quickly? I don't know. But those sorts of macro events, they do happen. And when they happen, they change the whole world order. Have you ever tried to transfer a lot of gold across the international borders?
Other than that time I was smuggling.
There you go.
Right.
No, well, let's just say that you could price it in gold, but that's ancient technology. And I'm not anti-gold.
But you could have gold-backed digital tokens on the blockchain.
If you know where you're going to go from point A to point B, why take a detour? Go straight from point A to point B. Point B being price everything in a digital commodity that's transferable, portable, verifiable, everything that's beautiful about Bitcoin that you can't do with gold. I mean, how much gold currently exists in the vaults? We don't know. It's not auditable. And how much of that gold that we think exists in the vaults could be tungsten? I don't know, and I don't care. I'm not pitching gold. I am pitching Bitcoin, which is defendable by math and code, and you don't argue with that. It's proof of work, and it's the law of conservation of energy, which is nature, okay? You can't mess with mathematics, and you cannot mess with nature. I have a trading expression, right? You give a target, but not a time, because if you do both, you'll be wrong on one, right?
Or not.
Well, you could, but I would just say it's a process, okay? So, you look at my price target on Bitcoin, and then people ultimately ask, well, when's it going to get there? And I say, I can't give both. I can give a target, but not a time. I measure the target in today's dollars, and then by the time it gets there, we do the adjustment as to what it would be in today's dollars. The same thing. Why does it get to that price? Well, there's global macro events that include these types of events. I don't know when they'll happen. I'm just very comfortable projecting that they will happen. It's just the law of probabilities.
Foss believes that Bitcoin will capture 5% of the global market. When calculating the expected value of investments, he weighs probabilities and statistics and shows how Bitcoin will be the leading asset in the market. As long as Bitcoin is trading at less than his current price target of $2 million, he still views it as cheap, especially given the 10x price increase it goes through every 4 years. With the current volatility in the market, we could see the price skyrocket in the next few months. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on this. What do you think about Greg Foss's prediction for Bitcoin in 2023? And how do you think the current banking crisis will play out in the coming weeks? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.